Well, hello everyone, and welcome to AJ507 Ethics in Criminal Justice. My name is Tony Farrar, and I will be your instructor for this semester. So today's lecture is going to cover the syllabus review. So we're going to spend about the next 45 minutes, give or take, going over the syllabus and then taking a quick look into the actual course canvas. So with that said and a lot to cover, let's go ahead and just jump right into our overview. So again, the course is AJ507. The section number is 3194. The title of the class is Ethics in Criminal Justice. This is the fall 2021 semester, and of course, this class is online. Next up, we have instructor or contact information. I have my information listed there for you. My office is located on the Menifee campus, so I have my office address, the phone number, email, and Twitter account information. I've also included two links to a couple of different websites. The first to the MSJC Criminal Justice Club Facebook. This group basically gets together when we are allowed to on campus to do special training events or different things like that. If you want to check them out, you can go ahead and click on that link and go to their Facebook page and see what's going on. Now that we are back on campus, we should be able to get the club kind of up and running again, or we might do a couple of virtual events. But if you want to hang out or kind of talk to people that have the career track of criminal justice in mind, or maybe they don't, they're just interested in criminal justice, take a look. And next up, we have the career education website, and this is a good resource for all of you to help you figure out the pathway to success for whatever career ed path you're taking. So if it's criminal justice, it'll show you all of the different degree programs, certificate programs, the courses you need to take, etc., or any other career ed course that falls underneath career education. So a great resource for you as well. Next would be office hours. So as I mentioned just a moment ago, my office is on the Menifee campus in the 3000 building. The office number is 3003. I have on-campus office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10:20 to 11:20, and then again from 1 to 2:30. So that's every Tuesday and Thursday. And then for online courses, I have virtual office hours on Wednesday evenings from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And when we jump into the course canvas at the end of this lecture, I will show you where you can access more information on how to do that. I am also available at other times by appointment. Email is the best way to get in touch with me. Should you want to email me, please do me a favor and use the example below. So your last name, the course number, the section number, and then the title of the class. If nothing else, if you left off the title of the class but you had the section number and the course number, that would definitely help. So my last name, Farrar, AJ507, 3194, Ethics in Criminal Justice. And the reason for this is because of the fact I teach so many courses. This really is the best, the most efficient way to make sure that I know who you are and exactly which class you are in. So that would really help me out, and it would help me to get that information more expedient and then back to you. If you do email me, please, all emails should come from your MSJC email account. Do not use your personal email unless, of course, there's an emergency and you just have to use that. If you are, during this semester, requested to submit a written assignment and you're going to, through Canvas, please do me a favor, submit it in Microsoft Word. If you upload a document in another word processor format like WordPerfect or Pages or something similar, there's no guarantee that I'll be able to open it. If I can't open it, I can't read it. If I can't read it, I can't grade it. And if I can't grade it, I can't give you credit. So do me a favor, focus on Microsoft Word. If you have a different word processing format, etc., if it's not Microsoft Word, just convert that document into a PDF, and that will be acceptable. That'll go ahead and run through the system without a problem. One thing additionally, the system will not allow you to submit a document through Google Docs through Canvas. the assignment has to be uploaded directly to Canvas. So just kind of keep that in mind as well, okay? Now we're down at the bottom of the first page. The syllabus is what I like to call a living document, meaning that is subject to change during the semester. If I do make any changes, students will be made aware of those changes as they occur in the form of an email or an announcement via Canvas. So this is a really good time to talk about, make sure that you set up whatever electronic device that you want to receive those text message or email notifications, announcements, etc., whether it's your phone, your iPad, your computer, etc., etc. Make sure you set it up so that way you get that information as quickly as possible. If you have any questions about the class, please email me direct. Also understand that all assignments and due dates, they're in this syllabus. So while I'm going to help you and send out reminders on due dates, etc., it really is your responsibility to know when things are due and to plan accordingly in order to make sure that you get all of your assignments turned in, okay? So this actually is our first semester teaching this class. So what is it, right? So the title, Ethics in Criminal Justice. Well, I'll kind of expound just a little bit really quick. This course provides a very comprehensive overview of the ethical challenges facing criminal justice professionals as it relates not just to local law enforcement, but federal law enforcement, the courts, and corrections. Okay, and the courts could be the judges or the attorneys, etc., right? So there's a pretty broad umbrella here. So the hope is that you're going to learn the principles and theories that are the foundation of ethical decision making, along with providing you some insight into the latest challenges and issues in criminal justice. And some of the content is going to include, but not limited to, morality, ethics, culture, human behavior, race, justice and law, police and society, discretion, dilemmas, and unfortunately sometimes police corruption. And we're going to take a look at all of that. So again, a lot of content to cover in this particular program. But you're going to learn a lot, and it's going to be awesome. Next, we have the program learning outcomes. We have the course learning outcomes, and we have the course learning objectives. I'm not going to take the time to go through each one of these individually. I will let you go through those at your leisure. I want to get to the textbook because that is definitely an important thing, right? So the title of the book is Ethical Dilemmas and Decisions in Criminal Justice. It is the 10th edition. It's a Cengage published book, and you have the ISBN number right there. Let me give you the 2-minute pitch for the book, okay? Of course, the book's available at the San Jacinto, Menifee bookstores, etc. And I'm sure that all of you have your own way of getting a book, whether it's renting, buying, whether it's through Chegg, Amazon, etc., or even an e-version. But there's a lot of information. There's so much content that's going to be provided to you and available to you in each chapter. I really can't cover all of it every single week. So, in order to help fill the gap, if you will, having that textbook will allow you to do just that, to kind of fill in some of the blanks and really help add some context to a lot of the discussions and things that we're going to talk about. So there's my quick spiel on the book. So I would highly recommend that you obtain the textbook. So enough of that. Next would be the California Penal Code. I put this in there. It's not a primary textbook. You don't have to have it, but we are going to be referring to this book from time to time. So if you don't have a copy of the Penal Code, that's fine. If you don't know what the Penal Code is, this is where all the laws are. And all the laws are like codes, like 459 PC, which is Penal Code, is burglary. And keep in mind, though, every one of these crimes, laws, etc., there's elements that have to be met in order for you to be able to prosecute this type of offense, etc., right? So we're going to, some of these sometimes we're going to break those down a little bit. So having access to a penal code is a good thing, but you don't have to have it, because right here I've got a link to legalinfo.gov. It'll take you to the California Code page, and you can find any California Penal Code section, health and safety section, any other California section you want. So you really don't need to pick up a copy of that book, okay? So that's available to you should you need it. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about the course check-in. So without getting too far into it, basically the way that I structure the course is it flows, or it goes in weekly modules. And each week, the module opens on a Monday and closes on the following Sunday. Okay, so for course check-in, the class is going to open officially on Monday, and here we are right here, the 16th at 8 a.m. During that time, after it opens, make sure that you check in to this class using the discussion board as your official check-in, and as part of the procedure, you need to do a really short syllabus quiz. So there's 2 parts. You will have until Sunday, August 22nd to complete this process, to go through that introduction module. Okay, so, and I'll show you again when we get to the end of this lecture. I'll take you in the course canvas and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. But understand, you have quite a bit of time, but set time aside to get this done. And remember, you have to do both parts. Failure to complete the check-in process, both parts, the discussion board and the syllabus quiz, will result in you being dropped from the class. Okay, so again, both parts between the 16th and the 22nd. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some expectations and some guidelines for the class. So this is going to be a somewhat fast-paced class with a lot of information provided to you every week, like I mentioned just a moment ago. And because of that, you really need to keep up with the chapter readings. Don't just rely on the PowerPoints or the video lectures. I do video lectures just like I'm doing right now in the syllabus review. So it's like I'm standing in the classroom lecturing to an actual class, which is going to be you. So it's the same thing. But don't just rely on that to get you through the class. Keep in mind that some of the legal terminology may be a little difficult to understand at first because you don't know it yet. Therefore, you really need to utilize your textbook to read the textbook chapters carefully to fully understand everything and to also help add context to the content or the subject matter. And hopefully that makes sense. In some cases, you might even have to look up a word or a term on the internet in that penal code thing I was talking about, or even in a law dictionary. Okay, but if you have a problem with any theory or concept or term or whatever, let me know and I will discuss it in our course canvas in a general discussion board area. That's called the donut shop. Yeah, I know, go figure. And I'll show you what that looks like and where it is when we get into the latter parts of this particular lecture. So to kind of sum it up, it's not an easy class. And it's going to require some work on your part to do well. However, this class can be extremely rewarding from all of the information and knowledge that you're going to gain. So what then are some of the course expectations? Well, students will participate in and complete a variety of activities that will achieve the learning objectives, that long list of objectives that we saw in the first couple pages of the syllabus. So what are these things that we really need to do? All right, so number 1, read the required materials. Go through the PowerPoints. Go through the lecture notes. Go through the introduction text at the beginning of each module. Read any articles that are posted and read your textbook chapters. Number 2, view the weekly videos that relate to each chapter. The PowerPoints, any photos, any other videos, the video lecture, kind of like what I'm doing right now, or any introductory videos that I post. Make sure you view those. Number 3, participate in thoughtful and timely discussions via the discussion board. Number 4, complete the online course key terms assignment. This is a non-graded assignment, okay? And basically, it focuses on the key terms. It's kind of a matching exercise where on one side of the page is a term and the other side of the page is a definition, and you match them up. It's non-graded. You could take it as many times as you want. It's broken down per chapter, and it's in each one of the chapter modules to help you learn some of the terminology. Number 5, complete the online and timed quizzes. Number 6, complete the online and timed exams. Number 7, complete what we call the ethical dilemma assignments. These are really short little assignments that kind of throw out an ethical dilemma and ask you for your opinion on what you might do. It's actually kind of fun. Number 8, complete the case study. And then finally, number 9, complete the midterm writing assignment. And don't panic on the writing assignment. There's an entire module to itself in your course Canvas that talks about the writing assignment, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. So with all of that said, please take note of the fact that failure to participate in the discussion boards, missing quizzes, exams, failing to turn in assignments, or missing a combination of these activities might cause you to be dropped from the class. So again, you really need to do your best to monitor when, assignment due dates are. Make sure that you set time aside, structured time aside to complete all of your assignments. So while this is an asynchronous course, meaning that you log in and do the work during a certain time period, there will be some opportunities during the semester for us to have synchronous meetings, which means that we can all meet online via Zoom. Now, they're not mandatory meetings, but these meetings will be announced in advance so you can schedule for them if you want to. And it's an opportunity, another opportunity besides office hours, for anyone to log in and exchange information, ask questions, or maybe even cover a topic like, when I format my essay, what is it supposed to look like? So that could just be the topic that we log in and we talk about, and I show you an example of what an essay looks like. So again, this is on top of office hours. We'll have a couple of these little special meetings, and hopefully they're very beneficial to you. So now then, how do you know, and here we are right here at the bottom of the page, how do you know that you're ready for an online course? Well, it's easy if you've already taken one or two or a couple, because you know how they structurally look and how to navigate around, etc. But, are you really ready for it? We talked about the expectations in the class, but you do want to make sure that you understand what is expected of an online student, more than just here's what you need to complete, right? So I have a couple of helpful links. The first one right here is to the MSJC online learning page that really provides a lot of good information to help you gauge where you're at and to make sure that you do understand what is expected of an online student. And then right below that, I have another link to a couple of video tutorials in the same online learning page that provides you some step-by-step guidelines on how to navigate in and out of Canvas, your Canvas shell, set up your email, and different things like that. So hopefully that's helpful as well. So let's talk a little bit quickly about some functions of Canvas that I want you to pay attention to, and technology. So you are responsible for your computer equipment and internet connection, independent, separate from the campus. So what that means is that you need to plan your coursework and be able to accommodate some type of computer issue or other related problem, because we know that sometimes things happen, right? So what this really is I'm asking you to have a backup plan. If Canvas goes out throughout the college, don't worry about it. We'll give you extra time to turn things in. We'll make sure everything works out because we want you to be successful, right? But I also want you to be able to plan for any other type of technology issue on your end, so that way you're not just kind of sitting idle and you can't do anything and you're unable to complete your assignments, because we just don't want you to fall behind. Okay, so that's really what I'm kind of asking you to do. As it relates to a couple of the functions that are really important to pay attention to, the first one in your course Canvas would be modules, because this is where your weekly assignments are. And I'm going to make it simple. Remember, I told you I go week to week in these modules. So I'm going to title each module so you know exactly what the week is that we're working in. So example, module 1 will be titled week 1, and therefore week 1 will contain all of the assignments needed to complete for week 1. So in those modules, it'll be the PowerPoint slides, the video lectures, any other links to videos I want you to watch, any articles, any exams, quizzes, guides, discussion boards, etc. That's all in those weekly modules. And the reason that it's done that way is for you to be able to access and find everything each week without having to click all over the place and hunt for things. Now, there are a couple of separate modules, and I'll show those to you at the end of this lecture. I talked about the midterm assignment paper, the writing assignment paper. That's a separate module. Your case study is a separate module. But all the other things are built into your weekly modules, so you don't have to hunt for each item. Next would be discussions, and this is important because this is where group discussions will occur on our different topics. Announcements, this is where you're going to find your announcements for the class, including any relevant information on changes to exams, quizzes, or any other upcoming information that I want you to know about or I think is important, like maybe a career fair or an actual job opening somewhere, or something really cool that happened in the realm of the courts or criminal justice, and I'm trying to get the information out to you. So again, another pitch for making sure that you set up whatever electronic device that you're going to be using to be able to receive those announcements in a timely manner. Next would be the grade book, and that's important because that's where your grades are. And then finally, extra credit. There's already one extra credit assignment that's built into this class. And as we go throughout the semester, I'll probably throw out a couple of smaller ones, and you'll be able to find those assignments in the extra credit area. And again, when we're done, I will show you where that's at. So with that said, how do we learn all of this stuff? I've covered a lot of information. Well, we have the PowerPoints, the video lecture, the news articles, visual aids, photos, videos, PowerPoints, class participation, class discussion, written assignments, quizzes, exams, even our synchronous meetings if we decide to have that, and even office hours. So we have all of these methods to kind of help us all learn together. In addition to that, you're always welcome to attend any of the in-class presentations from any guest speakers that I might have in a face-to-face class. So a lot of times in a face-to-face, let's say, criminal investigation course, I might have a homicide detective come out and talk. And I'll make sure that you know of that well in advance, so that way if you want to come out and listen to what that person has to say, you're totally welcome to do that. Okay, and just so you know that I'm human, that shouldn't be there. So there you go. See, look, I found a typo. Okay, academic support. This is available to all students at the LRC or through the help desk. One other really important thing is this semester we will have returning to help us our AJ student tutor, Rita. She's a wonderful researcher and writer, and she does a great job helping folks out that need the help. So as soon as I get her schedule for this fall, I will make sure to post that information. And if you do need any type of assistance, you can always call on Rita, and she will help you out as well. So more on that to follow. All right, so a couple of other things really quick before we jump into the course Canvas. Student code of conduct. Well, this is an online class. I do encourage you to read the code of conduct. You can find it online. But really, I want to just talk briefly about something called netiquette. And basically network etiquette or etiquette of cyberspace, or even a set of rules for how do we behave properly in an online environment. Now, Virginia Shea has defined these issues and others and discussed them at length in her book called Netiquette, of course. And you can take a look at a summary of her core rules of netiquette at the following website, and I put the link in here for you. Now, it's not going to answer all of your questions more than likely, but it does provide some basic principles on, on what to do and how to solve certain online issues. My big pitch here is just to let you know that, hey, look, we're all different, thank goodness, right? Or it'd be a really boring world. But we're going to have different opinions on things, especially in this type of a class, right? We're talking about ethics. And honestly, if we're just going to be honest, everybody's bar might be at a different level on certain things, right? So with that being said, I just want everyone to be professional when we do our discussion posts, etc. Understand that we all have differences of opinion, and we all want to learn, and that's really what discussion boards are for, to be able to hear other viewpoints on things. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to agree, because part of the discussion board process is saying, hey, I agree with that, but what about this? Or, you know what, I don't agree with that. What do you think about this? That's part of the whole process and how we learn and have a nice professional discussion. But I just want to make sure that we're professional when we do it, that we understand that everyone has their own opinion and that we appreciate their opinion because we want to learn, we want to take something away from it. Enough said on that. All right, a couple of websites to show you really quick, or links to websites, and there's some additional ones in the course Canvas, but here I have Cornell Law School and the United States Supreme Court, both websites, and both really good sources of information. All right, so now the fun part, exams and quizzes. Okay, maybe not fun, but yeah, I think they're fun. All right, so the quiz and exam questions will come directly from the textbook, the video lectures, the PowerPoints, or any other designated video, article, guide, etc. that I might post in the chapter module. And basically each week you're going to have a reading assignment. Okay, it could be the chapter reading in your book, or each module has a little introduction, if you will. You're going to have a video lecture, which is kind of like what I'm doing right now, where I'm going to do basically a class lecture on the chapter. You'll have a short 10 to 20 question quiz covering that corresponding chapter. You'll have a very short discussion topic, and then that little ethical dilemma assignment. Okay? Now, in addition, so that's kind of like every week. So you have a couple of graded things every week. Now, on a broader scale, over the course of the semester, you'll have 3 chapter exams, your midterm writing assignment, and a case study. And don't forget, you also have those non-graded key term exercises that you can do every single week, okay? So, not a lot to do, but again, another pitch for you to make sure that you are very structured in setting time aside to complete all of your assignments in a timely manner. Discussion boards, just to give you kind of a little bit more on this, they're typically reflective in nature. Therefore, they're meant to make you think about a certain subject, maybe even research it a little bit, and then consider other perspectives, and then make a response, right? You'll have a total of 15 discussion boards. One is the check-in, and 14 for the corresponding chapters. Each discussion board is worth up to 10 points. And when you respond to your discussion board, make sure that you read the information that's listed in the discussion question, or watch the video that's put in the discussion question, and then respond with a complete, well thought out response. For full point credit, your response needs to be 5 sentences minimum in length. Don't copy someone else's response. The more focused and thought out the response, the more points you're going to receive. Don't just respond with I agree or similar. Tell me what you think about the subject, etc. Okay? Now that doesn't mean, when you're responding to another student's post, if you want to make a comment, you can say, hey, I agree, hey, I don't agree, whatever. That it can be really short. You can expound if you want. Just understand that for your first post, your main post for the discussion question, okay, it needs to meet that criteria of 5 sentences. Okay? The ethical dilemmas, I talked a little bit about that. These are a little scenario-based kind of situations, right? They're meant to make you think a little bit about real life ethical issues. And to show you that I'm human, look, there's a typo because there's only 12. Look at me. All right, anyway, back to where I was. So they're meant to make you think about a real life ethical issue. Real life. These aren't fake. These have happened before. Consider the facts of the issue, how you might handle it, or what alternatives. And then you provide a response. Nothing formal here. Okay, so there's basically 12. I have here one for each chapter, but on the days that you have your chapter exam, I took that out. So there were 14. Now there's only going to be 12. Okay, so just understand there's only 12 of the ethical dilemmas. So, because 2 of those days you have chapter exams. So each assignment's worth up to 12 points. All right, and to receive full credit, basically what I'd like is a minimum of, and I'm going to change this right now because I've been thinking about this. So I'm going to go 1 full page. Okay, so just 1 full page, and you don't even need a cover. One page, 12-point font. Okay, double spaced for your response. And, consider the facts of the dilemma. Consider your options, and maybe why you chose your particular response. So we'll kind of shorten this down a little bit. I kind of hated to do this on the fly, but I think it's probably the best way to do it. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and make the change right in front of you. All right, so this is built into your course. It's the case study. And I actually give you the questions that I want you to answer as part of the case study. And again, there's more directions inside of your course canvas. Your case study is going to be on something called qualified immunity. All right. And then your extra credit assignment, the one that's built into the course, is on the death penalty for juveniles. Okay. So I have some information on that as well. Your extra credit assignment doesn't have to be written, but it can be submitted either written. You can do a PowerPoint on it, or you can even do a video presentation. You can decide how you want to do that if you decide to do the extra credit. All right, so now just to kind of sum it up, and then we'll look at the schedule, and then we'll jump into the course canvas. So remember, this course follows a weekly modular format. The lectures, the video lectures, quizzes, exams, discussions, all that other stuff, it's posted and available in those modules on Monday mornings at 8 a.m. And all assignments are due by 11 p.m. on the following Sunday night. So again, as an example, this class opens on Monday the 16th at 8 a.m. You're going to have until the 22nd, Sunday the 22nd at 11 p.m. to finish everything in that week 1 module. All right. Now, as a general rule, there are no makeup assignments, but don't panic. I said as a general rule. And the reason is because you have 6 days to complete everything within that week, right? So it really is up to you to get the work done. Now, I understand that emergencies happen, and I'll evaluate those on a case-by-case basis: jury duty, military deployment, medical emergencies, etc. I also understand that life happens, and friends, and other, jobs, and other classes, and kids, and spouses, and all that other stuff. So I get it. So I'll be as flexible as possible. But at the end of the day, keep in mind that it is your responsibility to make time for completing your work. And you're going to hear me say this 1,000 times. Do not wait until the last minute. I will remind you. I'll do my best to remind you of due dates and other important information, but ultimately, it really is your responsibility to plan accordingly and to know when things are due. So here are a couple of main issues that I see with online students who tend to get into problems. First is the inability to keep track of due dates. You have to be able to self-pace, regulate, keeping track of assignment due dates, and again, not waiting until the last hour to do all of your assignments on the last day. Second, thinking that because, hey, you know what? There's so many of these little ethical dilemmas and quizzes and discussion boards, missing a few really doesn't matter. Well, in reality, it kind of does, because missing assignments, it tends to add up quickly, like fast. It kind of sneaks up on you. And before you know it, you're behind. If you miss, 2 of those, 3 of those, and, 3 of those, you're down like, you could be down 80 points or something like that. So just think about that and remember that missing assignments really does tend to kind of creep up. And then finally, as a helpful hint, on the weeks that you have a chapter exam, don't forget you still have a chapter quiz. There's a quiz for every chapter. And the reason for that is so you can learn a little about the chapter. So when you take the larger chapter exam, you've already kind of gone over stuff, right? That's the rationale for quizzes, to help you prepare and get ready. So when you run into that, and it's only a couple of times in the semester, do the quiz first before you take the chapter exam. That way you've already learned about that particular chapter. All right, so here's the grading scale, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, and now we're going to look at the assignments. So you have 3 chapter exams. The last one is your final. The exams are not cumulative. So if exam 1 covers chapters 1 through 5, and exam 2 covers chapters, let's say 6 through 10, you're not going to get any questions on exam 2 from exam 1. Does that make sense? And the same with the final. The final's not going to have questions from these 2 prior exams, because I want you to learn, the content that we just covered. Okay? Here are your discussion boards. Remember, you have one for every chapter, and then your check-in is one. You have your syllabus quiz, your midterm paper, your chapter quizzes, your ethical dilemmas. I changed that. Remember, there were 14, one for every chapter, but you have a couple of chapter exams. So I'm going to, on the days that you have that chapter exam, you don't have to do the ethical dilemma, and your case study, for a total of 705. All right. So, and I'll show you what that looks like in the actual module in just a few minutes. Couple of important dates. I'll let you go through that. If there's any information that you need help with me, anything I can do to help you be successful, please let me know, and I will do whatever I can to make you successful in this course. Your written assignment, and again, we'll kind of go over that in detail a little bit later, is the LAPD Rampart scandal. I give you a little bit of background on it. There's a lot more information inside of your course canvas where the actual assignment is. Okay? And then finally, to finish up our lecture on the as far as the syllabus goes, everybody knows about plagiarism. I'm not going to go through every single thing, but copying information from a textbook, a text, an article, a news story, a paper, etc., without acknowledging the source, the author, etc., or using quotes is plagiarism. Now, that doesn't mean you can't take stuff from other sources. You just have to cite your references, etc. Okay? All right. And then at the end here, here's kind of a generic schedule. So remember week 1, here's the dates that it's open. It's going to be our check-in, our orientation. We have the discussion board check-in and the syllabus quiz. Week 2, and you'll see that these are very consistent looking. Week 2, we're going to cover chapter 1. We're going to talk about morality, ethics, and human behavior. You have your non-graded key terms exercise. You have a quiz. You have your little ethical dilemma. And then you have your chapter 1 discussion. And you'll see that it's pretty much the same every week for consistency's sake. Now, when you get to week 6, notice you have your first chapter exam. Okay? And this is going to cover the prior chapters, so chapters 1 through 5. All right? And you notice that there's no ethical dilemma because I took that out to kind of lessen the load as far as that goes. So you have your discussion, your exam, your quiz. Again, make sure you do your quiz first. Okay? So hopefully that helps. And again, they all look the same. There's due dates listed in here. As we go further down here, you'll see that during week 13, your midterm paper is due. Week 16, your case study is due. Week 17, your extra credit assignment is due. So hopefully that kind of helps you. Now let's jump in just really quick to our course canvas. So this is what it looks like. On the left is the navigation bar. I have more links than you probably do, but just to kind of let you know, that's where they are. You can click on Start Here, and it will take you to a welcome information. Now you can go down to the bottom right and you can click through each page, or I'm going to take you to a different view just so you can kind of get the module format. This introduction module is everything for week 1. This is mostly information. It's very important, so go through it. But as you get down to the bottom of this week 1, you'll see the discussion check-in and your syllabus quiz. All right. I have some other interesting modules that you can look at your leisure. Different law enforcement websites, Peace Officer Standards and Training. That's kind of the overseer of law enforcement in California. The Bill of Rights, the court systems. Here is the midterm writing assignment. I have a video lecture on how to structure your paper and cite your references. This is your actual midterm writing assignment. Here's how to upload. This is information on our AJ tutor. Here's your case study. Here's your extra credit. And then here's other extra credit. And I'll open these throughout the semester, but I'm not going to open these right away. When you look at the modules themselves, they will all look the same, just like on the syllabus. And I'm going to kind of show you. So this is our first chapter. We're going to talk about what our chapter is. This chapter is going to introduce the concept of ethics and morals. And you can go down to the bottom and you can click. Here's a quick introduction, all right, as we start to get kind of closer into the chapter. Just kind of have some questions for you to kind of think about, right? This is where you're going to have the actual PowerPoint slides, not the lecture video, the slides. I haven't done it yet, but they'll be right here. This is where the video lecture will be. Okay, and I'm doing this syllabus review a little bit, well, actually way before the semester starts, so I haven't populated this yet, but it'll be right here. Next, you will have your matching exercise. These are the key terms. Remember, you could do that as many times as you want to do that. You have your chapter quiz. You get to do the quiz twice, and it'll keep your highest score. And exams, you only get to do one time. Here's your ethical dilemma. Okay, and the information within your ethical dilemma. All right, and it kind of talks about, you know, what that might be. Your ethical dilemma information is right here. Then you can click, and then you get your discussion board question. All right, and then finally something different. Well, what I may do during the semester, just to let you know, is that a lot of times I used to respond to every student's discussion post individually. This semester, I'm going to try something new and see how you guys like it. I used it last semester and students thought it was pretty cool. I'm going to create a kind of a video, like a 4-minute, 5-minute summary of our discussion post. So instead of responding to each one individually, I will basically have a page just like this, but instead of saying unit summary, it will say discussion post response video, and I'll talk about the discussion post a little bit for 4 or 5 minutes. So we'll see how that looks. But here, you've completed the entire module. And again, all the modules are very, very similar. And you'll see that they look extremely similar. Okay, so I'm hoping that that really does help you out. Now, finally, we talk about discussions. The discussion boards are built into the modules. If you want to post something in the donut shop, this is a general discussion board area where you can post something and either myself or another student can respond to it, etc. So this is kind of a general form. I have another discussion board called the squad car. This is for just student-to-student information. I don't monitor this area. Okay, so this is for you guys just to kind of talk back and forth. All right, and then we'll go back to the home page. So I hope this was helpful. Please read the syllabus in its entirety, because you never know, I might find another little error before I actually publish, when the class goes live. So read the syllabus in its entirety. It's going to be a great semester, you guys. This is the first time teaching this class online. It's actually the first semester that we're going to teach this class. It's super important in the time that we're in right now. I really hope you learn a lot. I'm going to have a lot of fun learning with all you guys. And with that being said, we're going to have a cool semester, and this is going to conclude our discussion, or our syllabus review for AJ105, Ethics in Criminal Justice.